In 2015, the NHS pension changed forever. At the time, most staff didn't think much of it. It was described as reform, modernisation, long-term sustainability. But a few years later, a court case would challenge that reform and eventually force the government to rewrite pension history for millions of public sector workers. This is referred to as the McCloud Remedy, and the consequences continue to ripple throughout the NHS workforce, affecting when staff retire and how much pension they receive. So today isn't like my other videos. Instead, I'm going to tell you a story. The McCloud Remedy from start to finish, and why it matters. Now, before we begin, I would humbly ask that if you haven't already subscribed, then please consider doing so now. These videos really seem to be helping a lot of our community, but the only way that we can grow is together. With that being said, sit back, relax, and let me take you back to the beginning. So our story begins a little over 10 years ago, 2015. Now, up until this time, most staff were either in the 1995 or 2008 pension scheme. These were both defined benefit schemes linked to final salary. People were happy, the schemes provided great benefits, and there was a more positive outlook on the NHS. But good things don't last forever. Then came reform. From April 2015, the government decided that these model types were unsustainable, and so moved most public sector workers into a new pension scheme. The ruling applied across all affected public sector schemes, but we will aim to focus on the NHS in this video. The new scheme was the Career Average Revalued Earnings Scheme, or CARE for short, and it remains the NHS scheme used at the time of making this video. Now, we're not going into too much depth about the pension itself, as I've done a full video for this already, so please check it out when you get time. But for the sake of this video, it's important to recognise that the CARE scheme is not based on final salary, and it's less generous than its predecessors. So you might think, great, everyone gets put into this new pension scheme, and we are all worse off for it. But here's where it gets interesting, because not everyone was moved at the same time, and this is key to what happened next. You see, when the 2015 scheme was introduced, the government didn't move everyone immediately. Instead, they created something called transitional protection. The general idea was that if you were within roughly 10 years of your normal pension age in 2012, you were allowed to stay in your old 1995 or 2008 scheme, and some staff had partial protection, meaning they moved later. But if you were younger, you had to move into the 2015 scheme. So, two NHS workers, same job, same band, same service, could be in completely different pension schemes purely because of their age. At the time, this was presented as fair, but it would soon be challenged. So this is where the battle began. Now, the legal challenge didn't begin in the NHS, it actually started with judges and firefighters. Two individuals, including a judge named McCloud, argued that the transitional protection arrangements were discriminatory because they treated people differently based purely on age. As with all matters of law, the case dragged on. From its opening shortly after the pension reforms in 2015 to the decisive ruling, which came from the Court of Appeal of England and Wales in December 2018. The ruling ultimately found that the protections were unlawful age discrimination. Now suddenly, the government had a massive problem, because this didn't just affect judges or firefighters. It affected the entire public sector, including our beloved NHS. So here was the core issue. From 2015 to 2022, younger NHS staff were forced into the 2015 scheme, while older staff were allowed to remain in the older, more generous schemes. This costed people vast amounts of money purely due to their age, and after the ruling, the government had to fix it. But how do you fix a pension scheme retrospectively for millions of workers? Well, this is what brings us to the McCloud Remedy, derived from the name of the judge involved in the court case. The government's solution had two main parts. Step 1. Roll everyone into the 2015 scheme, regardless of age. This was the easy bit. From April 2022 onwards, all NHS staff were moved into the 2015 care scheme for ongoing service. No more transitional protection, no more age-based differences. Everyone treated the same going forward. Step 2 was much more difficult, and this was to fix the past from 2015 to 2022. This period is known as the remedy period. The remedy is that for affected staff with pension service between April 2015 and March 2022, they are given a choice. They can either keep the benefits they built up in the 2015 scheme or move that service back into their legacy scheme, 1995 or 2008. The choice is made when the staff member retires, and it's called a deferred choice underpin. So this is where it gets interesting. The 1995 scheme had a normal pension age of 60, was final salary linked, and had different commutation rules. The 2008 scheme had a normal pension age of 65, was final salary linked, and has a different accrual rate. The 2015 scheme is linked to state pension age, is based on career average earnings, and has different early retirement reductions. So depending on which scheme your 2015 to 2022 service sits in, your retirement age, annual pension amount, early retirement reduction and lump sum options could all change dramatically. For some members, moving their years back into the 1995 scheme could mean retiring earlier without reduction. For others, the 2015 scheme might actually be better. It's not automatically one or the other. It depends on personal circumstances. This remedy has also created tax complications because pension growth between 2015 and 2022 may now be recalculated. HMRC introduced processes to correct historic tax charges where members were unfairly impacted, but this has added complexity and delays. Some members may receive revised pension statements, while others may need to revisit old tax returns. So, what are the real-world implications? 1. Your retirement age could effectively change depending on your scheme choice. 2. Your pension value may be higher than you expected. 3. Early retirement reductions may be different. 4. Your financial planning may need updating. The key point is this: affected staff won't choose now, they'll choose when they retire, and they will be shown which option gives the higher pension. They'll effectively get the better of the two outcomes for that period, and ultimately that's the protection built into the remedy. So here's where our story ends. The McCloud case started as a legal challenge about fairness, but it ended up reshaping NHS pension history forever. From 2015 to 2022, pension service is being rewritten, and from 2022 onward, everyone is in the same boat. This isn't just a technical adjustment. This is a massive overhaul that could drastically impact retirement planning for many NHS staff. Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, then feel free to check out some of our other videos. Please hit the like button below on the way out, and subscribe for more simple finance videos covering pay, pensions, tax, and long-term wealth. I hope we cross paths again, and I wish you all the best for your future.